And then it wraps up. There's a season for everything under God. Um, in the context that this question was put out in, or the statement that this was put out in, the statement was, isn't there a season for like violence? Isn't there a season for war for the Christian? No, there isn't. Right? Not in the context that the person's trying to frame it in. Right? We discussed this yesterday. We discussed this on Monday. That the appropriate Christian, um, how we should how we should conduct ourselves in these matters of people fighting in Israel and Iran. And we just use that as an example because that was the most current event, that thing that was taking place. But our involvement and people cheering for all of it as a Christian is not to cheer for it, right? It's to mourn those who have died prior, or died because those who died without Jesus Christ, right, are going to experience a second death. We are to pray earnestly for leaders, not just our leaders, the leaders around the world, right? That they come into faith into Jesus Christ, right? Because if you have these nations that become Christian nations, if Israel becomes a Christian nation, Iran becomes a Christian nation, you have peace, right? But Israel's not a Christian nation, and Iran is not a Christian nation. And what do we have? We have conflict. We have conflict. That's what we have. And that is why there's a difference between governments and Christians, individual Christians, right? I would love to have a government that is comprised of Christians. I would love that. We don't have that, but I would love it. Those who would honor God all the time. But there's no country on earth right now that is a Christian led country. We may call ourselves here in the United States a majority Christian country. Okay, that's fair. You can say that. You look at the surveys and look at things like that and say, oh, wow, there's way more Christians. But when you break down that, when you start breaking down and looking into those numbers, right, you really start digging into those numbers, you look at the percentage of that that professes to be Christians versus the percentage of those who actually believe in the Bible. It is a very small percentage. They're true Bible believing Christians. It's like, of like, I don't know. I'm just going to use a number here. This is a, hey, hey, stop, stop. Um, like 60%. Let's say 60%, and it's like 3 or 4% that actually believe in the Bible. That's a big percentage, right? And so, for us to, I would love to have a a a Christian nation the way it should, but it's not going to happen. We can actively advocate for it, and you should. We should look for people that represent Christians who are a Christian to run an office, right? That's what we should advocate for. But we're not going to have a perfect government until Jesus Christ returns. All right. So, you know,